Hi guys, I hope you're doing well, I hope you're staying healthy. These are really strange times, and basically there's a story in the New Testament that really reminded me of it, and I felt there were bits of it that were really relevant, so I thought I'd read it to you. This is actually, we've got some discussion points in this video, so if you're with your family, please feel free to gather them round and pause it when we say and have a bit of a discussion. If you are by yourself, then make sure at some point you please contact the church office, because we're going to make sure that people will keep in touch with you, because it will be terrible to be lonely during this time. Okay, Jesus heals 10 men with leprosy. Now on the way to Jerusalem, Jesus travelled between the border between Samaria and Galilee, and he was going into the village. 10 men who had leprosy met him. They stood at a distance and called out in a loud voice, "Jesus, Master, have pity on us." When he saw them, he said, "Go, show yourself to the priests." And as they went, they were cleansed. One of them, when he saw he'd been healed, came back, praising God in a loud voice. He threw himself at Jesus' feet and thanked him, and he was a Samaritan. Jesus asked, "What, not all 10 of you cleansed? Where are the other 9? Has no one returned to give praise to God, except this foreigner?" Then he said to him, "Rise and go, your faith has made you well." If some of the younger viewers don't know what leprosy is, take some time to discuss what that is. If you don't know what it is and you're by yourself, take some time to Google it. Basically, it's a very infectious disease, and it was quite common in Jesus' time. Now, in Jesus' time, if you had leprosy, you would literally be outside of society. People would not want to be near you. If you came too close to someone, they would probably try and attack you, because they wouldn't want to catch leprosy. Now in Jesus' time also, the priest acted a little bit like a GP. And if you said you'd been healed from leprosy, the priest would assess you and see whether you were ready to come back into society or if you'd infect people. And again, like many times in the New Testament, Jesus didn't just restore someone physically, but he also restored their place in society. And there's quite a few times when Jesus does that, and that's actually really important, because the way we are in society does actually really affect us. Now, one of the men with leprosy returned, and he threw himself at Jesus' feet, and he thanked him. Now, in Jesus' time, if you threw yourself at someone or something's feet, that was considered an act of worship. And in those times, the word he used for thanks is similar to the word we use for Eucharist. However, this isn't the same word that you use to thank a human being. This is a word that you would use to thank God. Now, this is one of the many times in the New Testament where there are really subtle hints that Jesus was a bit more than a man. In fact, Jesus was God himself. Now, Jesus asked the man, "Were not all 10 of you cleansed? Where are the other 9? Only one of them came back to thank Jesus." Now, if I'm honest, part of me can't blame these guys. They've just been healed. They're feeling great. They're feeling healthy for the first time in probably years. And they want to go see that priest, get written off as clean, and they want to go get stuck into life again. And I couldn't help but see like a bit of a similarity between life right now. And I thought to myself, I wonder what the first thing they did when they got back into society, when they were assessed as clean. I wonder what the first thing they would do. And I was thinking, when this coronavirus business is over, what is the first thing I'm going to do? And I thought during this video, we could pause it in a second, and you can have a little discussion with your family. What's the first thing you're going to do when all this corona business nonsense is over? If you're by yourself, have a little time to reflect. What's the first thing you're going to do? Okay, welcome back. So currently it's a bit of a tough time. We're all in self-isolation, or at least social distancing, or you should be. And actually, it can be a really sad and lonely and depressing time. And some people will hate me for saying this, but this is a good time to be thankful. Yes, a good time to be thankful. Research has shown that people who practice thankfulness are much happier than people who don't. And that being thankful for what you have, the things you have, can reduce anxiety and can help people who are suffering from depression. And these are probably 2 things that are like going through the roof right now: anxiety and depression. And if that is you, I don't blame you. It is a tough time. And it's interesting because I believe as a society, Britain is not a very thankful place. I spent a lot of time in Uganda and a few other countries, And in Uganda, the children and the teenagers are thankful for going to school. They love it. They want to be there. And the thing is, in Uganda, you have to pay to go to school. It's not free. It's not paid for by your taxes, but they're still so thankful. And I don't want to beat down on teenagers in the UK, but maybe soon we'll be a bit more thankful for school. I don't know. And the thing is, I can tell you why Britain's not a very thankful place. And the reason is because thankfulness does not sell. If I'm thankful for my old beaten up iPhone 5, which I am very thankful for actually, I'm not going to go out and buy the iPhone 17 or 17X or I don't know, whatever the iPhones are up to now. And if I'm thankful for my little battered old car, I'm not going to go and buy a brand new car. And the problem is, marketers and advertisements, they want us to not be thankful because they want to make money off us. And who can blame them? If I was them, I would as well. But there we are, that's a different question. But God asks us to be thankful. And lots of studies have shown it's good for us. And that's really interesting because I personally believe that God doesn't make stupid laws, He doesn't make stupid rules. In fact, the rules that God gives us are because it's good for us and it's the best way to be. Now, I actually heard one time that if you're ever feeling anxious or if you're feeling down, one way to really help yourself is to think of 10 things that you're thankful for, 10 things in your life that you're thankful for. And in fact, let's pause this video in 1 second and think of 10 things that you're thankful for. Okay, and if you're with your family, please discuss that now, that'd be great. Welcome back. Now, I'm really thankful that currently the sun is shining, it's nearly spring and the weather is changing and I love it, it makes me feel much better. Now, after Jesus asked about the other 9, he says something, it's not that PC, it's not very politically correct. He says, the only one who came back to give praises to God is a foreigner. Now, if you're British right now, you should actually be squirming a little bit because, as we know, it is really wrong to be unkind to people because they're from a different country. And it's socially not very acceptable to point out that people are foreigners like that. But actually, Jesus wasn't being unkind. In fact, in my opinion, he was having a bit of an ironic joke. See, in Jesus' time, the place where he went to give your praises was the temple. Now, the temple was in Jerusalem. The temple in Jerusalem had different sections. And there was one section where there was a big notice saying, no foreigners. If you were ethnically Jewish, you could go into that section. If you had become a Jew but weren't ethnically Jewish, you could not go into that section. No foreigners. And I guarantee you that Jesus would think it was ridiculous, okay, that some people could go and worship God in this place and other people couldn't because of where they were from or where their parents were from. And when Jesus spoke to this man who had just been healed, he was saying, isn't it ironic? The only person who came back to give praises to God is the person who wouldn't fully be allowed to give his praises to God in the temple in Jerusalem. In fact, the reason why Jesus was doing all this in the first place is that every human can have access, as we call it, access to God. 10 men got healed, but only 1 came back and chose to be with Jesus. It is often humans who hold themselves back from God rather than the other way around. Okay, to summarise, this story is about thankfulness, being thankful to God. It is good and healthy for human beings to give their praises and their thanks to God. Jesus doesn't discriminate, he wants all humans to come to know him. We have full access to the Father, even if we are in social isolation, or at least social distancing. So as we go about the rest of our week, stay focused on the things that you're thankful for, not the things that we can't do, but have that hope of like, oh, when this is all over, I'm going to go see my family, I'm going to go for a cheeky Nando's, I'm going to watch Premier League football all day. And if you want, write down in the comment section some of the things you're thankful for, some of the things that you're looking forward to doing, and keep in touch. Write me some nice comments. I still haven't only commented about how nice my hair looks or how great my physique is. I'm a little bit hurt by that, I'm not going to lie. But I will see you soon. I love you, praying for you, etc., etc. Bye.